So I'm gonna do my little menu thing here, and let's see. The idea of this menu, there's a lot of work done to it, but there's still a lot of work still to go on it, and I've been working on this for so long that I figured, okay, I would start sharing it with people in like live streams or whatever, because I've said for months and months. Hey, Jago and Flormore, welcome. Anyway, I have constantly said, yep, yep, I'm going to do a tutorial for the menu, but then when I've done the menu itself, it started on the tutorial, something else happens. It's not due to anything, it's just simply due to the fact that it's the way that SGB works out its kind of like operations for the events. So this is the case, just be working on this one. Um, Now I don't know, this is what I'd like to try and figure out. These will work, but these two won't. And the background volume and oh, I forgot about that. The background volume will kind of work. It doesn't work for all of them for some reason, and I don't know why. The sound effects I haven't even bothered with. So anyway, yes, welcome you guys to the stream. So I think um, blah 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 blah. Camera, got it already. Set the camera mode to whichever view. Ah, okay. Check variable. This is this is something that I do kind of like miss a lot, is the ability to actually search properly for things. So if the camera is 0, okay, if the camera is 0, turn the camera switch off, I think. I don't think this is going to work. So if the camera's, otherwise, if it's 1, then this needs to be off and enable. Gee, I don't know. So the normal one, you won't be able to switch the keys. Probably end up figuring this out a bit later online. Hey, So what kinds of projects are you all working on? Never really sort of I don't really speak as much in Discord. I mean, you'll see me say the occasional things, but while we're here, as I ask, okay, this is the one. Um, Controller type camera switching. Going to be the first person. That would be so. This is why that doesn't work. Don't. Oh man. Okay. Don't want it to work. First person mode is 0. Don't want it to work in normal mode. Can change this a bit later. Turn that off. Didn't really think about this properly. Need to reevaluate this because this is possible, and there will be occasions where, I mean, for me, I would prefer to see some areas I'd prefer not to have the camera, and some areas I would prefer to have the camera, and switching in between. Working on recreating an old GB game just for fun. Awesome. Presumably that would be the GB for Game Boy. Man, I haven't played a Game Boy game in like forever. And then some. Um, okay, so the camera that does work, but then it doesn't. So this is actually from here all the way down to here, all of the stuff for the menu, and yeah, a lot of events. It's easier to go here because I wanted to add something to the menu. Um, make sure that the all of this is good. In first person view is on. Yeah, I did add it. I wasn't too sure. Just setting the defaults. Waiting for Bakin to continue. Yes, I think a lot of people are now waiting for it. And it's gonna be the bomb when it's released. It really is. I think the majority of people will be quite pleased with Bakin. Okay, so I don't know how to do this. The only way I can think of doing this is um where is it? Where is it? Come on, first person. The only way I can think of doing this for now is just to have something very simple that would actually work. So when the switches off, first person switches off up here. Um, where did it talk? Oh God, I'm going to think about this. When first person view is on, first person, when it's off, click to normal, and that should be good. If not, it does work. It doesn't update the settings anyway. I will look at that later. What's the desk doing in amongst the forest? That's what I want to know. Huh. So anyway, I wanted to focus a little more on the back office. Not sure what kinds of things you would have in a back office. Um, don't know. Maybe this is like some kind of storage or bedroom or both. So maybe some bookcases, filing cabinets, um, that kind of thing. Okay. Let's see what other stuff we got here. Oh, okay. The default door. Okay. I forgot I created this. It even animated. Yeah, it is. It's slow, right? Okay. Let's see. Um, Format. I'll be right. What material is this actually using? Huh. Is that one? Just gonna see if this works because I know that there was one that's having a bit of a problem. Okay. That's probably why. lowest would be 1. Stay open at 91. Stay open. 300, 290. That is too slow. That is way too slow. There's always got to be on 60 frames per second. It doesn't do it by default. There. Stay open and you can close again. You just imagine like they're going. The door opens. So back into the menu. It's essentially, a lot of it is essentially just some repetition, a lot of repetition. I am going to determined to get this settings done. I don't know why. So if this is the case, first person view. Hmm. So camera mode is normal person. Mm-hmm. Oh, what am I thinking? Why the hell did I undertake such a thing as this? My brain is scrambling for things and it's not quite getting it. So in order to do this, we're just kind of like probably just going to simplify things, just whittle it down to its basic elements. And instead of having all of this complicated garbage, um, return to something return to something simple. So first person view, check event, switch, first person view when off. Okay. You want to turn it on. If not, turn it off. And then there's a provision in here, somewhere at the top, that will say, here it is. When the first person is view, then look at it from above. This is if it's not, then it'll be the third person. At least that's what in theory. So see the problem is it thing I can't understand is it worked and now it doesn't. Now that I'm on live stream, it's just being quite ornery. It shouldn't be that because I tested it before the live stream and yeah, it was operating. It's fine, but here we go in the live stream and it's kind of throwing a little bit of a conniption fit. So where are we at? Camera switching. We're all the way down. Thank goodness for the notes. Really lost without them. Did a debug thing. That's what we want. First person view. Decide. Yeah, see, that does not want to work. That's what the problem is. Debug is on. Position 5. I can see why, like, I must admit, I've got to admire these people who can just kind of like go in and program stuff, like say C sharp or whatever, just absolutely start. That's it. It's all done. I don't think I could actually do that anymore. No, it's key up, right key down, side. We're probably going to have to copy and paste or duplicate something now. Do it here. It's a lot of repetition. No, maybe this would be simpler in C sharp or something. Yeah, that kind of works. But the entire structure of the menu is actually based on one simple template. And this is something that I have curated over the past, what, year? Ever since Enigma of the Wolf, I had this bright idea to have like a little bit of a something, something. It was just a simple phone menu. It would pop up. And for anyone who has not seen my little demo of the menu, this is kind of like a work, still a work in progress, and it's just so much that needs to be done. Um, Now the little maps thing. This is uh, this is actually a new feature. I'm gonna actually focus on this instead because the settings menu is doing my head in right now. So in fact, let's do let's do it this way. Wait, where are the doors? It's an indication of the doors. Um, just for the purposes of the map. That's a bit better, but these doors do not fit in with the rest of it, so I am going to what what program is what? The one that I just copied the screen. I mean, this is obviously Smile Game Builder that I'm working in. You mean that the thing that I did to copy the screen? That's it's almost ready. Just noticed something here. And then, well, it's actually a feature in Windows 10, believe it or not. Like what is it? Their snip tool or something, snipping tool, or snip and sketch or something. I don't know what it is, but it's a shortcut key where in Windows 10 you can hold down the Windows key, Shift, and S, and then you can select parts of the screen ready for copying and pasting. Pasting it in or editor, and then you can edit it. Just something really simple like that. It's very, very useful. So hide this by 1.3. Also, another hint for anybody who doesn't know is in GIMP, probably in other programs as well. You can do this in Blender, um, but you can also do it in GIMP, as you have seen. If you can't calculate the size, then you can just basically put um, any kind of math operator in here and it'll automatically calculate. So that seems about right. I'm just going to save it. Uh, so it'll be tablets, maps. Be the pub map, I think. Um, but it's also very useful because sometimes that little shortcut key, sometimes when you right click and copy stuff, it doesn't always copy. So a little cheat is, of course, to do this. Trying to share images from Facebook and that doesn't work. So you just do the Windows Shift and S, and I'll copy for you. Images. Fabulous maps. I'll probably safely delete that now. But in here, this, I should delete this and this because it's no longer relevant. I can actually create doors. I was having a few problems before actually doing the doors, but nope. Nailed it. Let's change a variable string to map location. And it would be geo. Or geos. Then a sublocation. Maybe it's just main city for now. I don't know. I have to think of a name for the. You know, I never thought about it. The name of the actual city that this game is built in, or the lands or something. So anybody, like think of some names that we could create this city that they live in. That would be cool because then could actually use it. Maybe have like a little poll or something later to see which names strike people. That would be very interesting. Display map. So with this one, geos has to be exact. Copy this here. This is the test map. Yeah, a little bit too big, right? But know that that one would be fully functional. So a few more tweaks. Um, Let me see. Burp. Name the city they live in. Burp. Hey, baby. Decided to come in, right? After all, so the boring game dev. So either scale this image down a little bit more. Um, Divided by 1.6. Try that. That might be too small. I don't know. Yeah, a little bit too small. A little bit more. 80. I'll probably get away with that. Eat sandwich. Yeah, sandwiches are good in this weather. It's just, when it gets, sometimes when it gets way too hot, you just don't want to eat. Um, okay, so still a little bit big. So still gonna have to scale it down after all. GIMP 0.7. Hiccup. Yeah. that that's quite good. Um, or here is here is something. Hickaberg. Nah, man. This is the problem. There's no real way of there's no proper way of actually testing the images in SGB. It's just sort of like a kind of guesswork, and it's the same way with this one. So we still have to. Well, that could work. Wouldn't that mean they live in the north, like Conway? Perhaps, perhaps, or it could mean that they're also sort of like somewhere more central, perhaps. Like I don't know, maybe Conway. I think that would work because it's not really sort of based on a specific place or the place in the world. It's just this made up land that has a story built around certain things, and I think that would work actually. Kickerberg, yeah. Put this like somewhere more central like that. That might work. put an asterisk there because it's still kind of like open for debate, I guess. And it is still too bloody big. Okay. The problem with this is there's no definitive way to actually properly determine um because you can't in this particular thing you can't really load in anything else to test. You just have to do a lot of guesswork, especially with the picture testing. Little bit smaller. So what? Might have to move it down a bit or up a bit. But there you go, Geo's. This is Geo's pub in the city Hickeberg. Change this. Um, yeah, that'll work. That'll work. So now a few areas. This area here is going to be I don't know, like the main area of the pub, the entrance. So we need to get some coordinates, and for that, the notepad. This would be 313. So top left corner. 1213. Bottom left. 316. Presumably that would be 1216. So in between these two ranges. Require a bit of work. Uh, I don't think I've got the player settings, the player position set up yet. Days a week. Um, let's check. equals player direction. Okay. Player. Set the variable 27 to player X. Set the player's Y position on the map. Y coordinate. Using this reference. Okay, now I have to think about the positioning. So that would mean if it's greater than or equals to 13, less than or equals to 16, that's not, should be the Y. Most of the time I just sort of guess this. Where I is greater than equals to 16. Less than. Just gonna wing this. This little math is not my thing. Right, so if the player X is greater than equals to 3, less than or equals to 12, we can probably get away with doing this instead, just doing the Y. Player Y is less than or equals to 16. Then put this somewhere down here. do it this way as well. Uh, sublocation is um, if that'll work. Yep, there you go. So if you're within this range, then you will be in the entrance. If you're on here, you're going to be like the VIP, like the VIP area. As Ash rightly pointed out in his playthrough. And if you're here, it's going to be like the main hall, or what do they call it, the tap room. And then this obviously is going to be the main bar. So that's the idea for doing this sublocation. And every time you would move in through the areas, this is how you would do it. You'd have like a range. We need to move this to be slightly more there. Still not quite central, a little bit more to the left. That should be good. That'll do. So the next part figure out would be from here. To here. Ah, yep, that applies on that applies to 3 fronts. I'm not going to go into the details. I'm not going to mention it, but hey, it is as it is. So this next part would be um, I suppose this can be overwritten. So once again, it would be and 16, 12, right. X across is 12. 6 and 11. So once again, I'm going to add this one. Eventually, I'd like to see it where, you got like a major, one of those teleportation maps where, you leave the house and you go to the city and you can actually move on the map to determine where you want to go. We should make it interesting. It would make it more interesting, I think, instead of just traveling from. I mean, some people prefer to have the map teleportation thing. Some people just prefer to wander around the city themselves. And I think I'm going to give, um, people the option of navigating through the city. Maybe it could be like a phone setting where if you don't want to travel around the city, you'll go to like this. Yeah, I did like an overworld map, but of the city, and then in the settings they can turn that on, so that if they don't want to kind of like wander around and they just want to quickly complete the game, but then why should they? Because they'll miss a boatload of stuff. Then they can toggle it on in the maps setting, and they'll come up with like a little overworld map of the city, which they can then travel to. Or if they turn it off, then they'll have the option transporting to another map to just wander around the city and do whatever. Kind of like a fast travel system, I guess. Like, Skyrim or Fallout 4 or Witcher has one. No, that can't be right. That's not 11. That should be 12. At the moment, with this, don't have to worry so much about the x coordinates because it's probably here, but it's because there are walls, and so if this is greater than equals to 3, if this is less than 6, now that is a good idea. Yeah, a taxi app. We call a taxi and kind of, come pick me up. But don't fancy walking. Um, that is a very good idea. But the taxi cabin part of the contacts. Perhaps by extension, um, you could have like the money be taken off. If you don't have enough money for the taxi, you won't be able to travel. But if you do, then that would be interesting. Very, very good idea. let's uh, let's open up something else here to do. Uh, this is yeah, this is something I've done that. So on the phone instead, replace this. fast travel map. Like, pretty cool. Put this. There you go. Okay, settings, fix zooming. I've done that one already. What else? Clear decision on the game through out menu. Done that. Done that as well. I'm not sure where I was going with this one, but add case if tutorials on. Add this as a work in progress because I'm still developing those. At bottom screen. And gamepad keys for tutorial navigation. Setting on there. So this would probably be about here, maybe. Currently there. And if we move into this area, technically it should still not be there. Right, we're going to try this. See if it works. Hi, honey.
Hi.
Hi.
Does it work?
I think so. I don't know if there's like an echo. A little more? So can you hear Tina?
Huh. I don't think you can hear me.
Well, I don't know. It's a sort of mic. There might be a little bit of an echo through the speaker. I don't know, but yeah, I should be able to hear because it's two separate mic channels. Anyway, yeah, he said he can hear. Cool.
No, he did.
He did.
No, he said yeah.
That was in response. I answered could hear you, and yeah, I did.
That could be a reference to anything.
It could.
And it might be.
It might.
Well, hello. Maybe he can hear me.
There you go. Said hello.
So does your tutorial, is it actually going to show a game activity? Or are you just going over details of how to create it?
It's a little bit of both. It's kind of like this game development thing, and that's sort of like, ugh, okay, no, that's still not right. No, it's kind of like a combination of it. It's working on me developing the game, notably the menu system, but at the same time, tutorial in it. It's showing how to do it. Even after live stream, people, if they wanted to or cared to, if they can, do it that way, they can watch it after.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like the purpose is because just to sort of see, because eventually, if this becomes a regular thing, eventually I'll do the Blender thing and create the models in Blender as well, so you can sort of port into it. It'll be part of it all, part of the whole game development concept. Oh god, sorry for... It was a bit loud my end as well, but that's Skype for you.
Yeah, at least we know it works.
Yeah. It's
And if he wasn't deaf before, now he's for sure deaf.
yeah, that is so true. I got a wait a minute. Got a poltergeist in here.
Yeah, just like the room. There's so many ghosts in the room, it's hard to read the text.
Yeah. Well, something fell off a shelf, and I don't know what the hell it was. It was like sounded like a
A pin drop.
well, actually, it was oh, okay. It was a piece of paper, and I had this menu from one of the restaurants, and I could swear that was flat, flat on the shelf. I'm gonna get some coffee and check it out to see exactly what it is.
You start scaring yourself. Oh, I still need to take him on a paranormal investigation.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. When
No, it's not funny. I should take you on a paranormal investigation and scare the McPeas right out of you.
no, I don't think. I mean, that previous poltergeist that we had. When I first moved in here, that previous poltergeist that kept on moving stuff and throwing stuff and all of that. I mean, it was just sort of like a WTF moment. And well, really,
We have the poltergeist. You invited it. You dealt with it.
I didn't. I didn't invite it. It was already here. It was already here.
Woohoo! I got my own flat now. We can party.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just the thing. It's sort of it was one of those things where it was just trying to get attention, and once the story was told, then it found peace, I guess.
I got a question.
Hmm.
How hard would it be for you to actually create a poltergeist game? Just for fun.
In what respect? I mean, how would that? How would that?
I know that there's a lot of games out there that's ghost related and um poltergeist, but I was more in the aspect of like one that would keep you on the edge of your seat, but have a whole bunch of um, different activities where you have to investigate.
Oh yeah, the different types of spirits. and maybe you have to use like certain tools to investigate certain things like um, intelligent residual poltergeist, those kinds of things.
Yeah. Are you gonna answer Flomore or shall I?
I can answer both of you. Yes, it wouldn't be hard at all, actually.
Okay.
Um,
As far as putting spirits to rest, basically giving them a blessing where letting them know that they have passed. Sometimes in the world that we live in, we don't really understand all of the concepts of what happens after we pass. And sometimes people can connect with them and help them pass over easier, like like settling their souls so that wherever they're supposed to be, they can go and be there and know that they left the world behind.
yeah,
If that makes sense.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Is it? It's that that's the kind of thing. It's sort of like it would be a paranormal investigator, medium, spiritualist type role.
Well, I think the reason why they actually do call it paranormal is because it's not of the norm.
Hmm.
You know, when you go and walk down the street and you see somebody, that's norm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
But for somebody that has passed away, different activities, different thoughts, different patterns ends up happening. So it makes you question. So then they end up contacting people like, say, a Catholic priest to come out and do a house blessing is an act of paranormal investigation because you've got to prove that there's a paranormal activity going on.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
I mean, it's not for everyone, and they're learning more and more about what happens to certain people with different tests and stuff, but we haven't done it in years.
No, we haven't. And this is kind of like this is partly why I would like that camera. I mean, getting like 100, what was it, £160, and actually trying to get the money for it. There are places around here. I mean, I'm not interested in it may lead to it, but actually going into places to investigate, probably not. But there are a couple of places.
Uh-huh.
No, probably
I
not.
found them.
Hey,
I found them.
you found them.
I found them right down the road from where you live.
Well, yeah, yeah. That what paranormal people.
No,
No.
no, 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 no. Abandoned houses, abandoned buildings. You'd be surprised at all the old energy that can still be in those places.
Mm, mm. Yeah, but I mean that's just it. It would sort of like be a progression of things because I probably yes, probably a project for Baikeen. Um It'll be something to consider. But if this was going to be a game, then it's sort of like these kinds of experiences would more easily be able to translate into the game format itself, and that's something that I would definitely consider. But it probably for me it wouldn't necessarily be to begin with. It wouldn't be the abandoned places or going into haunted houses or anything. It would be more on the lines of just sort of going to these spots that I know. They're like there's this one bridge. It's it crosses a railway bridge, and it's a known hotspot for strange stuff. I'm not sure if it's because people jumped or if there are accidents on the train tracks or whatever. But apparently, if you're at a certain point on a certain time of day, you can actually hear some screams, and people often think that it's the anniversary of somebody who was, experienced tragedy there. So that would be one place that I'd look. There's also a weird, weird little copse of trees. I was on about that in the IM with you.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing, if I got this camera, then I could easily go by myself to do some footage of it. And if anything interesting comes up, then just put it on the YouTube. And then sort of see if other people would be interested in going to these places. But it would definitely make for a good game, because it's, you and I have what, 60, 70 years between us of this, the entire paranormal world, that we have so much knowledge to draw upon.
Yeah, and you know what would be interesting in that game too
Hmm.
is if there was a clip or a section about how if you needed help, you would have a choice of going with a medicine man, medicine woman, outside doctor, country doctor, an Amish, anything like that in there to give different hints of where to find things.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That would be really cool. Give people that their own choice.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Now we just gotta find sponsors for it.
Yeah.
I
People are
mean,
yeah. People are people though.
yeah, well, not saying particular names, but there is a media that is going through difficult times right now. And if it goes as planned, they're not going to have money for sponsorships.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know a few the changes in there, and I'm not, because I'm streaming on a certain channel as well. Certain policies, many are having a tough time dealing with, because the increasement in disallowed words is such that a lot of them are being demonetized, even going back 10 years of videos where they have mentioned these particular words and they demonetized, and they're appealing left, right, and center, and they're not being answered. So a lot of the big channels that I know that have been going on for ages are just not financially viable anymore.
Somebody ought to actually create a website to take place of that particular company that you're on about and say the word and then uncensored.
Yeah, there is actually another video platform. It's called Odyssey, and it doesn't have the same amount of censorship as this particular channel, but it's not very widely known. And the problem is that people in general, at least from my own experience, they would prefer, I guess, to stick with the devil that they know, because they don't, it's that thing, you don't want to try anything new, because it's kind of like you got established on one thing, and trying something new is like, I mean, you and I both know that. It was sort of like the same thing with and what was that social media site? Hello? And it's kind of like, okay, well, we'll kind of like look into it. No, we don't like this because it's not quite the same as Facebook or Twitter or some of the others that we've already become established with, and I don't think we gave it a chance. Well, I know I didn't really give it a proper chance. So as a result, I just sort of discounted it.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Shut up. Yeah, yeah. But it's quite interesting, the whole thing. This is where it's hard in a situation like that. It's very hard to get motivated properly to do certain things because it's got to get into this mindset of, okay, I don't really care about that or what other people think, believe, or whatever.
Oh,
Um,
I always care what people think. I always do. I always take everything in the heart, and you should know that.
I know, but you know what I mean. It's kind of like more in the sense of like we're on about certain things. You know,
Yeah,
if I mean using that in a more general term, then yeah, if people don't like you for who you are, and yet they haven't given you the chance to properly get to know you, then okay, yeah, I don't care.
that's when I usually smile and say, "Have a nice day."
Yeah, yeah,
Because not to know me is sometimes a gift.
yeah, yeah. That's a good way of seeing it. It's just going to get the coffee.
Well, shoot, almighty. So, Plumber, are you guys still hot? I guess Plumber left. Oh, I was asking you if you guys are still hot over there, or is it starting to cool off?
That's a VIP area. Um,
I think Plumber is still really hot over there because he's having a hard time with typing.
yeah, it's here. It's raining, but it's still very hot, like hot and humid.
Well, I talked to somebody in a different place, kind of closer to me than it is to you guys, and they had 46 C the other day, and once it got to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 41, I
Wow.
guess,
Yeah.
but it was raining,
Yeah.
100-degree weather,
Yeah.
and in the background it was lightning.
Yeah. I was going to say about the thunderstorms for sure. No thunderstorms here, but I know that somewhere in southern England and mid England, and I think probably on the close to London, they had some serious thunderstorms. Cardiff may have had the rumble because extremely hot for the UK anyway.
Well, you know what my prediction is?
Hmm.
come the end of August, you guys are going to have one boom of thunders and lightnings, and then it'll rain for like a month.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that definitely sounds about right.
And then maybe you guys will get some snow this year.
Well, I hope so. I really do, because we haven't had a decent for quite some time. And yeah, that would be quite something.
All right, I think I'll hang up so you can get back to working on your game.
I think I'm gonna end the stream because an hour and a half. That's enough for now.
Why?
Eh?
Yeah, why? I'll just hang up and then you can continue for a few more minutes.
No, it's been an hour and 45 minutes, and I figured that I would only stream for an hour and a half. But
Oh,
yeah, it was hour and 3/4, so that's about right. And in this case, yeah, in this case, I'm just gonna continue this a bit later, and maybe just chillax after.
all right.
Okay, so um, yep,
Toodaloo.
Tulu, and thanks you all for attending, even the ones who left for a little bit after a certain subject was talked about. It seems,
Yeah.
but
Sure.
I do like that entire concept of the game. Yeah, just sort of like having that, and I think that's going to be, this new RPG developer by Keen that's coming out. I think that's definitely going to be something that I will look at more closely nearer its release.
Hey, I got an idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's either that or do up a Christmas game.
Yeah.
Where you have to go and search for all the items of Christmas and collect them up and put them together, and mysterious things ends up happening. Like makes you kind of question things, but then and then all the naughty things of Santa Claus comes out, and
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of ideas coming now.
well, if Stray can do up a short game, why can't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That will be something for the future. In the meantime, I'm gonna hang up, stop the stream. So yeah.
All right.
Thanks you all. See you until the next time, I guess. All right.
You too, Flomore.
Talk to you in Discord.